Hello YouTube Vintage Restorers. Here's something I don't believe I've ever talked about before. Dial cords on vintage receivers, tube radios, that kind of thing. Here's the original one. This is a Heathkit AR-14 receiver from 64, 65. It's the original. It has got a couple of sections that just are weak. So you know what happens is, it wasn't broken, but there's a lot of slippage in the tuning. And sometimes it would slip, sometimes it wouldn't. And then I looked at how many sections were worn through. It's like, you know, where it turns corners and stuff like that, where it's around the main tuning shaft there. Time to change it. And I have a pretty good method to change these. I take this, this is my last spool of vintage ice fishing line. This is the black stuff. It doesn't stretch. It's impervious to oil and grease. It's amazing stuff. There's actually new stuff that's just as good. But this one here, I bought this one 21 years ago and it was vintage then. And I actually remember my grandfather fished with this stuff. And it was very hard to break. It makes great tuner strings. And I had this concept where I would take one end off the main tuning wheel, tie the new onto it, and you can usually pull it right through all the pulleys and everything, then tie it off and put the spring back. Well, the spring broke, the original spring, so I did find another one here. But sometimes this is one of the hardest things to put back right. So I'm going to give it another attempt here. I hope you can see it well enough. So what I've done is I've started with the main tuning wheel, which is gear reduced down into the tuning cap, tied it on one end, made a diagram of how it runs. Please don't laugh. I have the Heathkit, a copy of the Heathkit service, doesn't have a diagram. So I went counting my memory and my exactly perfect diagram there. So I started there, I went 4 times around the shaft of the main tuning knob, and I'm to the point where I'm going to get it on to this main tuning wheel. So this one winds this way, this one winds this way. I know, it's pretty wild. So we go through over the back. Okay, so it's over the back once. No, it goes twice this way. Hold it there. Over the whatever this is, the extra long protuberance. Come on. Over the back. Ooh, it's a little snag. There's a lot of stuff in here. There we go. So 2 winds. Now what I'm going to attempt to do is to wind it up to the point where I can put the spring on to this piece. And say the tuning shaft should turn like that. You gotta keep it tight. You gotta keep it tight. Okay, keep it tight. It goes here, over here, and back again. Oh, it's winding. Gotta keep it on that spool. Okay, this is the spot where we're going to take it off and hook with the spring. So now we got to put a little loop there. There were some kind of eye hooks on here. This is what I do. You make a knot that tightens. So about where you want it there. Something like that. Take a little slack off of it. Yeah, this is where you got to keep it on that spool. Sometimes it helps to have another set of hands in here. My wife is putting up Christmas decorations. There we go, made a little knot. like that. Actually getting somewhere here. We just got to backtrack a little bit while pulling up the slack. And it's got to go, according to my diagram, behind here. I just need to grab it with something. Like that. Alright, so there's where we want it. Now, get that spring on there. Which is the open end. That's the open end? Alright. This is like in stereo repair. This is about the closest you're going to get to doing surgery. You know, something that feels like surgery. There. We're actually hooked on the spring. Now we got to get the spring onto the little metal tab. We're in the final stretch, so let's wind it a bit. Wind it a bit. You gotta get it over the tab. I don't know if you can see it. Let's take. And you know what? I actually have safety glasses on because I've occasionally had these hit me in the face, you know. Because it's under quite a bit of tension. Ooh, that's going to be tough. Grab it one notch up. Do it. Get on there. Yes, it's on the tab. Okay, so let's see if it actually turns like it should. Look at that. Okay. Oh, that just feels so nice. It's so smooth. This was kind of a funny one. The actual tuning shaft on the tuning control was bent. Straighten that out. The bracket was bent. It was a bit of a challenge. Yeah, that should be fine. Now there's some little loose ends and tabs we can snip off. And of course, I just swing this one around. This is another one of these things. I was getting so frustrated on this last night, I said enough. While I was working on the tuning, this actually fell out. Went like this. I just caught it before it hit. But it's not glass. It's actually some kind of plexi. It was glued in originally behind here. So I'm going to clean the glue off and re-glue it. I find just silicone glue works really good. That'll pull that right in. So we'll take the faceplate off, glue it in, and then can put this on, dial it to a station that I know, put this on at the right place, make sure it's, you know, hitting all the right numbers, sort of, you know, like this. Let me tell you something here to close this out. Every once in a while you have a goof that happens, and it's one you never want to repeat again. And I remember I had, it was an early Sansui tuner. I don't remember the number. It was the one with the round tool. Was that 555 or whatever it is? And this thing was very dirty, you know, tobacco smoke type of thing. So I cleaned the front of the glass, and it's like, hey, that looks pretty good, but it's kind of gross on the inside. So I took the front face off, turned it around, a little bit of light Windex, wiped it, and the numbers wiped off. I was just like, whoa, how can those be coming off? Every once in a while, I don't think these would come off. I doubt it very much. But sometimes, and I've noticed it, I've seen some early Kenwoods that are like that. Whatever the paint was, it dissolves with ammonia. So you might just want to clean with a little bit of water and dish soap if you have to. Or just water, you know, to get, because they do pick up grunge, and nothing looks better than one of these nice and clean and backlit. Anyway, thanks for watching and listening.